The woman who changed martial arts forever, Fang Qiniang. In Fujian, a woman named Fang Qiniang changed martial arts by creating white crane boxing, an art based on timing, structure, and yielding rather than brute strength. Inspired by observing a crane defend itself, her system crossed the sea to Okinawa through Chinese martial exchange, where its principles quietly shaped the techniques and close-range power that would later become karate, making her one of the most influential yet often unseen figures in martial arts history. In a world where martial arts history is often told through the names of men, Fang Qiniang stands as a force that cannot be ignored. She was not simply a woman who practiced kung fu. She was a creator, an innovator, and a master whose understanding of movement reshaped Chinese martial arts forever. From observing the effortless balance and precision of a white crane, Fang Qiniang forged a system that valued intelligence over brute strength, timing over power, and adaptability over domination. Her creation, White Crane Kung Fu, would go on to influence generations of fighters and entire martial traditions, proving that true mastery is not defined by gender, but by insight and discipline. Fang Qiniang deserves respect not because she was exceptional for a woman, but because she was exceptional, period. Her legacy challenges every narrow idea of who can lead, invent, and define martial arts, and her name belongs among the most respected founders in history. In the history of martial arts, most names belong to warriors, monks, and generals, men trained in temples, men recorded in books. But hidden in the mist of southern China is the story of a young woman whose observations would quietly shape the future of Kung Fu and even karate itself. Her name is Fang Qiniang. Some say she was a legend. Others say she was very real, but whether history or myth, her influence is undeniable. Childhood in Fujian. Fang Qiniang was born in Fujian Province in southern China, sometime during the late Ming or early Qing Dynasty, around the 1600s. Fujian was rugged land, mountains, forests, and coastal villages. It was also a place where martial arts were a necessity, not a sport. Bandits were common, political unrest was constant, and self-defense was part of everyday life. Her father and martial roots. Qiniang's father, Fang Qiniang, was a respected martial artist. Tradition says he trained in Shaolin boxing, bringing northern techniques into southern China. From a young age, Fang Qiniang was surrounded by martial training. She watched her father practice forms and drills, learning discipline, posture, and balance before she ever struck a blow. The legend of the White Crane. Fang Zhonggong, father of style founder Xinyan, was one of the monks of the southern Shaolin monastery. That is mentioned in many Nanquan legends. He was expert in the 18 fist boxing of the Lohan, Shiba Lohuanquan. Upon the destruction of the monastery, Fang and other monks fled to Fujian Province in a neighboring county to Yongchun. There he would have a daughter, Xinyan. As Xinyan was growing up, Zhonggong would teach his martial arts knowledge to her. From a young age, Xinyan grew up surrounded by training. She watched her father practice forms. She listened to stories of discipline, balance, and control. And like many daughters of martial families, she trained, though quietly, away from public attention. But there was a problem. Her struggle with traditional martial arts. Despite her dedication, Fang Qiniang struggled with her father's methods. Shaolin techniques emphasized strong stances, powerful strikes, direct force. For a smaller, lighter body, these methods were difficult. Her father reportedly grew frustrated. He believed strength came through repetition and endurance. But Xinyan felt something was missing. She wasn't weak. She wasn't lazy. She simply understood that force alone was not the answer. And then one day, everything changed. A moment that changed everything. One day, Fang Qiniang witnessed a fight in nature. A white crane faced a much larger opponent, often described in legend as a snake or a monkey. The crane did not fight with force. It avoided attacks, used angles, and struck only when the moment was right. Every movement was calm, precise, and efficient. Learning from the crane. Xinyan studied the crane closely. She observed its balance, footwork, and timing. The bird used evasion instead of resistance and precision instead of strength. She realized that martial arts did not need power to be effective. They needed timing, structure, breath, and awareness. The crane in the courtyard. According to legend, Fang Qiniang was walking near her home when she witnessed a fight. Not between people, but between a white crane and a much larger animal, sometimes described as a snake, sometimes a monkey. The crane did not overpower its opponent. It did not charge. Instead, it evaded attacks, used angles, struck only when necessary, maintained balance and calm. Every moment was efficient. Every motion had purpose. Xinyan watched closely. The crane didn't fight with anger. It fought with timing. That moment stayed with her. Study in nature, not muscle. From that day on, Fang Qiniang began to study the crane. She observed how it shifted weight, how it used narrow stances, how it struck with precision rather than power. She combined this with what she already knew from Shaolin training. Slowly, a new idea formed. Martial arts did not need brute force. They needed structure, breath, sensitivity, and intelligence. Qiniang began experimenting. She adapted techniques to redirect force, use soft energy against hard attacks, strike vulnerable points with accuracy. Her movements became lighter, her posture more upright, her techniques faster and cleaner. What she was creating was something new. The birth of White Crane Kung Fu. Over time, Fang Qiniang developed what became known as Fujian White Crane Boxing. Bai Quan. Key principles of her style included evasion over collision, relaxation over tension, precision over strength, breath control, and internal focus. This style allowed smaller practitioners to defend themselves against larger opponents. It was revolutionary. White crane techniques emphasized short snapping strikes, upright stances, circular deflections, strong but flexible structure, and unlike many martial arts of the time, this system was shaped by a woman's experience. From Fujian to Okinawa. Fujian Province was a major trade hub. Chinese merchants, scholars, and martial artists regularly traveled to Okinawa, part of the Ryukyu Kingdom. With them, they brought martial knowledge. White crane boxing spread quietly, taught through family lines and private instruction. Okinawan practitioners absorbed its ideas and blended them with local fighting methods. Over generations, this fusion became what we know as karate. Influence on karate styles. Fang Qiniang's influence can be seen clearly in several karate systems. Goju-ryu, emphasis on breathing, hard and soft balance, close-range techniques. Uechi-ryu, crane-like stances, conditioning and structure, direct lineage to Fujian martial arts. Concepts like Sanchin breathing, short-range power, rooted yet flexible stances reflect White Crane principles. Her ideas live in every practitioner who values efficiency over force. Legend or history. But in Chinese martial arts, absence of paperwork doesn't mean absence of truth. Many styles were passed orally. Many women were never documented. What matters is this. White crane exists, its principles are distinct, and its philosophy reflects the perspective of someone who had to adapt, not dominate. That perspective is what makes Fang Qiniang's story so powerful. Her true legacy. Fang Qiniang didn't build an army. She didn't seek fame. She didn't conquer lands. Instead, she showed the world that intelligence can overcome strength. Observation can surpass aggression. Martial arts belong to anyone willing to understand them. Her legacy lives in kung fu schools, karate dojos, every practitioner who chooses balance over brutality. She reminds us that martial arts are not about who hits hardest, but who understands movement best. So the next time you see a crane standing still, balanced, alert, calm, remember Fang Qiniang, a woman who watched, a woman who learned, and a woman who changed martial arts forever. Thank you for watching. Please press like and subscribe. Aloha's.
That's it.